Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and if you're watching this video, you are actually seeing part 2 of our video review of David Nordschow Amplification bass amps and cabs. So what I've got beside me, as you can kind of see in the frame, I've got the DNS 210 112. So I've got 2 separate cabs, they're not connected, and I've got the 800 head. And what I'm going to do is, if you have any want to know the details on the specs, that's what we made part 1 of the video for. This is just sound, and I want to give you an opportunity to hear kind of what things sound like. I'm not trying to impress you with my playing. I am just trying to let you know what the sound is like, and in some instances you may not be able to tell a lot of the difference. But again, if you're wearing your headphones, and if you were here, you would be able to tell how much better this sounds than my old rig, who has been very faithful and a very good working rig. But let's start out with, I am currently, again, dialed into the 800, the 210. Now, among the highlights, Dave mentioned that we can adjust some of the sound with the tweeter from the front of this, so I don't have to climb behind the speaker. So if we do kind of high notes, low. Right now I'm set on normal. If I move it to 2 decibels, let's go to high range. A little crisper there. And let's go to minus 2 decibels. Now, without making any changes to the settings on my head, let's hear how the 112 sounds. Okay, the same adjustments we can do, plus 2 decibels. High range. And minus 2 decibels. Okay. So all we've done is change the cabs. You do notice a little bit of the difference on how it handles the low end, the richness of the sound that you get from the 210s compared to the 112, but both of them, without making any changes to the head, have a very good response and a good sound, a little more kind of tenor sounding to me. But again, very subtle difference. Weight-wise, if you're trying to stay portable, certainly the 112 would be the way to go, where the bigger guy down below, even though I think the sound is better, it's gonna, you're gonna have to carry a little more. Okay, so now that we've had a slight review of the cabs, let's listen to a little bit of what this head can do. The first thing you notice, I'm not getting any sound of it because I'm using the mute button. Simple push of the button, and I'm running this down through the 210, so you can kind of get the fuller sound, and that way you know what cab I'm working this through. Now, as we had talked, we can adjust gain, and I'll just pick a note. It's pretty disappeared. The setting that we're looking for is where the light, the indicator right next to it's kind of flashing that we're in the sweet spot. As David mentioned, if I pull this, it's got that 10 decibel pad there, so you can tell a whole lot less output. Let's put this way, okay. Now, let's play with the shape knob a little bit, and what we'll go is all the way to the left. do a pull again. The differences with the shape indicator, at least to my ears, are a little more subtle. And certainly it's something that you could play with to find your sweet spot. Next, we've got the EQ. And right now, I've got it set a little bit on the bass. We'll bring up the mids a little bit. And we'll increase the treble. And let's say we want to drop out of those settings. This is where that foot pedal, which I've got connected, comes in handy. If I click it, I believe here, that looks right. That returns me to my flat basic setting. Get out of here. Okay, let's give the threshold a try. And we'll just play a note. You'll notice how it's different because this is involving how much compression this is getting. So all the way to the right, a whole lot less sound. There we go, it's kind of where I like it. If we pull that, there's no compression whatsoever, no matter what direction I turn it in. So let's go back to where I kind of liked it there. The ratio. And this works in combination with the threshold, so we can kind of play with it. Master control, all the way down, absolutely no sound. And you notice absolutely no distortion, really crisp, really clean sound and signal. And we're not using any pedals or altering any of the sound. So, if I set this kind of where I like it. There we go. Threshold here. Handling those low notes really nice. Kind of running the scale. High, low. Nice, clean sound. The way I really want to get the sound that I want coming from my bass. So you've seen it here. This is the sound sample that goes with David Nordschow Amplification 800 on the DNA 800, DNS 112, and the DNS 210. If you've liked these sound samples, the way to go is go to DNA Amplification's website, and there you can find a retailer or somebody that carries this equipment near you, and you can give it a try on your own, because actually hearing it, I think, is the real proof in the pudding. I think it sounds great, but don't let me be the one that tells you what your sound has to be like. I just really like the way it sounds with my bass and in my hands, and certainly I'll be playing with these settings to dial it in kind of precisely to what I want to hear. So you've heard this sound bit sampling of the DNA Amplification gear brought to you live, Bass Musician Magazine.